After 80 years of helping at-risk youth in Coal Valley, Arrowhead Ranch is closing residential services in about a month. It's going to affect 15 kids and put dozens of workers out of a job. Jonathan Fung is in studio for us tonight. Jonathan, why does the center need to scale back its services?
John, speaking with the CEO of the nonprofit, he says a lot of this stems from changes in state policies which require them to take on kids the government classifies as high-risk youth. He says they just don't have the resources to safely care for these kids and give them the help they need.
About a year ago, they had me on the Facebook page because I was celebrating another milestone anniversary here. And a lot of the kids went on there and said, I remember her, and said a lot of nice things. That made me feel good.
Roxy Muskie has worked at Arrowhead Ranch for almost 50 years, stepping up wherever needed.
From time to time, I would help out in the dormitories when they were short-staffed. At one time, I went back and got my food service certification so I could help in the kitchen if they needed help.
But now the Coal Valley Center is closing its residential services on April 24th.
We're no longer able to house youth here. We also cannot keep our school open. Our boys wake up in the morning, go to school, come back, and do programming in the afternoon in the dorms.
CEO Luis Moreno says he'll have to lay off more than 60 employees who teach classes, cook meals, and maintain the buildings.
Every year we continue to ask for extra funding, but it has gone up minimally.
Luis says the state's Family First Act, which came into effect in fall 2021, means they can't house kids the state identifies as low to medium risk. They can only house those at high risk.
Most of our kids have been abused either psychologically, physically, and even unfortunately sexually abused. So we're dealing with the trauma that they have and trying to help them beyond that.
And Lewis says it's hard to have enough staff that can care for severe mental illness safely.
There's been many nights based on the youth behavior that we've had to have 1 to 2 staffing ratios or even 1 to 1 staffing ratio.
Lewis says the team is working to decide which services it can keep offering, like vocational classes and counseling.
Things happen, things change, and you just have to kind of roll with it and do the best you can.
And John, Lewis did say the program has been working with state lawmakers to get all the funding owed by the state of Illinois. The center also tried to apply for grants, but Lewis says the main issue is that the state needs to increase the rates it can legally charge. John?
And Jonathan, as for the kids that are staying there, where will they go once the residential services end?
Yeah, John, Lewis says the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services will help reassign the kids, but he says that might be a tough job since the other state locations are already maxed out.